Hey, my fellow rockhounders. Question I get asked all the time is, how do you find the spots that you go and rockhound at? Well, the answer is a little bit complicated. The first part is real easy. You guys, other rockhounders. There's a treasure trove of knowledge out there of all of us different rockhounders, whether it's people online, other YouTubers, or just people you meet at other dig sites. Take advantage of their vast knowledge and experience, and you'll get some really great information. The second part is a little bit more complicated. I use a range of different websites and web tools to help me out. I'm going to break this into a series of 4 different videos, one for each of the websites that I use as I'm planning my adventures for the spring and the summer. Today I'm going to show you how to use Mindat or Mindat, depending on who you talk to. Although I will use Mindat and Mindat throughout this video, let's settle the argument once and for all. Here, in the words of the creator, is the answer.
Hello, and welcome to the Mindat.org podcast.
So there you have it, Mindat it is. This is the world's largest open source data sharing platform that's out there. Anything from rocks, minerals, meteorites even. It's got just a wealth of information. Today we're going to be using the site to try to determine where we can rockhound in an area that we're going to. I encourage you to use this site to go beyond that, because there's so many other great resources available on here. Here we are on the homepage. There's a ton of different information that we can find on this site, but what we're looking for is places to rockhound. So we want to go down here to occurrences. On the mineral occurrences site, we have 2 different options. We can search by the mineral that we're interested in finding, or by a location that we might be going, or we can add the 2 together and try to see what's in that area. Let's try by mineral type first. Let's try good old shiny graphite. The site will give you usually some pictures of the mineral specimen, and then a whole plethora of different things down below, whether it's symbols, chemical makeup, etc., crystalline structure. But what we're looking for is located at the very bottom, and that is a map of the different locations. Now, this is a world map, and it shows us all the different places around the world where people have submitted data saying that graphite is located in this area. Now we can also get a little bit more specific. Let's say again we're interested in finding some graphite, and this time we want to limit our searches to just places that are in Ontario. You can see on the map here that there are quite a few different places where we can get graphite in Ontario. As I mentioned before, there are also yellow symbols on the map as well, and these indicate that there are, for instance, over here, 57 and 35 more occurrences just in that specific area. So let's zoom in, and you can see they slowly break down into more and more detailed sections of Ontario as we go through. So again, if we were out in Ottawa Valley, back out a little bit, there are a few sources of graphite that are not too far from the area that you could go searching. One of my favorite ways to use the Ontario Mindat page is to actually zoom into areas that I plan on visiting. For instance, if I plan on visiting Thunder Bay and I had a couple days up there, I'd open up my map and I would zoom in to the Thunder Bay location. And depending how far from Thunder Bay I wanted to travel, how much time I had, I could go much farther out or zoom in real close to get something really close to the city. If I had a little bit of time to drive, I have lots of different choices within a short distance, really, of Thunder Bay. short distance by Ontario standards, of course. So let's pick one at random here. What's this one? The Merino Mountain Mine. Let's open that and see what we could find if we went there. Scroll down and our mineral list: quartz, and the variation of quartz is amethyst. When you go to the Ontario site, we don't have the occurrences tab like in the main site, but we do have a nice little search thing up here. And it looks like I've searched for diopside before. Let's have a little look and see where we can go in Ontario. Here's a really good example of why the pictures aren't always the best here on Mindat. We often get these really great museum quality pictures, and the stuff that we're finding at the different dig sites that we go to often don't look like this. And we may get there, we may find that once in a lifetime find, but generally they're not as awesome as what we see in these pictures, and it makes it a little bit difficult sometimes to compare what you have found and to correctly identify it through the Mindat site. But in this case, we're just looking where to go and get diopside. So let's scroll down to the bottom, and there we have all the different locales around the world, and we can of course scroll into our lovely Ontario and find lots of spots where we can find great examples of diopside here in Ontario. One of my favorite ways to use this website is to pick an area specific on the map and zoom right in. So today, let's use where my claim is. I'll show you a quick zoom in here on Google Earth. And now we'll do it a little bit slower on Mindat and go into that specific area. As we scroll down on the site, there's a whole bunch of information that's provided. If we're lucky, there's quite a few different pictures from the spot, and they give us an idea of where to go and what to look for. I still haven't been able to find this pit on the site. Hopefully this spring, when some of the leaves have been chewed up by the winter, I'll be able to see the ground a little bit better and find that one. Below that, we have vital information for us to use later on some of the other sites we're going to visit. We have the latitude and longitude of the area. And then below that, we have a little bit of information about the area. In this case, we learned that where it's located and that there were 8 pits that were excavated in the year 1901. They were looking for magnetite, but it turned out to be a bust, and they only found a type of black garnet rock there. Below that, we find a list of minerals that have been located in that area, whether they're seen by the person who has uploaded the data or it's from old records, etc. Of these minerals, I have located so far allanite, calcite, hornblende, magnetite, quartz, and titanite. I have located a green material, but I'm not sure it's epidote. So I haven't really found any good epidote crystals yet on the site. I was just thinking as I was recording here, on my way down to Florida in a couple months, we're going down to visit a dear friend. We'll be stopping at Graves Mountain in Georgia. And so let's see what I can find on the Mindat site here for Georgia. So I've gone, instead of the Ontario Mindat site, I've gone to the Georgia USA site. And I got to tell you, I'm a little overwhelmed here with the number of different occurrences here that we can visit. Let's narrow this down a little bit, and let me show you how to do this. If we go up to here and we type in Graves Mountain, now we can scroll down on the search results, and there's the one we want right there. Graves Mountain, Lincoln County, Georgia. Open the full map. Okay, so here we have Graves Mountain. Amazing site. If you haven't been there, I've shot a couple videos of this. I encourage you to go look at those. Fantastic. However, I'd love to see what else is around in that area. So let me get out of the map and show you how we can do that. Up here at the top, we're in specifically at Graves Mountain right now. If we want to see what is close by, instead of clicking Georgia, we can go into Lincoln County. So let's select that. And now we have a much more manageable list of things that are very close to the spot that I'm already going. I'll be staying over here in Washington, and it's a short drive over here to George Mountain from there. And that should be Graves right there. So it looks like there's a few other things I could look at in this area. So it looks like I have a little bit of homework ahead of me here to see what else is in this area that I can go and find on my way down to Florida. As I mentioned at the start of this video, there are other sites that we need to visit in order to make sure that not only we found a location, but we're allowed to go there. The next site that I'm going to look at is one called the Crown Land Use Atlas. This is essential to finding out whether or not we're on Crown or on private property. It's a step that way too many of us leave out in our planning. I hope that you can use the information that we looked at today on Mindat to find some great rockhounding opportunities for this upcoming season.
I'm a rockhounder, a dirty rockhounder. I collect minerals, I collect rocks. I have no idea how I'll ever stop. Digging deep in the earth's bones, sweat drips, dirt fills my soul. Hammer strikes, echoes in the dark, searching for crystals in this cold hard rock. Druzy dreams in the dusty pit, fingernails full of dirt and grit.